Hi, and welcome to Jam-Packed Business Made Easy. My name is Jam Anderson, and I'm the CEO of Jam AI. And today, we're practicing exactly what we teach. You're about to listen to a podcast that's truly automated with our AI hosts, who are now our new friends. We also would like to invite you to listen to our podcasts that come out every Friday, where Flora is interviewing entrepreneurs just like you. We're exploring authentic challenges and discovering practical solutions together. Speaking of community, if you're looking for a community, you can find us on the School platform. Just search for the #1 community for entrepreneurs. All right, let's dive in.
Ever looked at a brilliant app or maybe a really sleek website and thought, man, I wish I could build something like that. But coding just feels like, I don't know, another language I don't speak.
Well, get ready, because what we're diving into today is absolutely reshaping that whole reality. It's this groundbreaking concept. We call it vibe coding, and it's truly changing the game for creation.
That's exactly right. At its core, vibe coding is, well, it's a revolutionary style of AI-assisted software development. Basically, your ideas, just expressed in plain language, literally become functional code. We've sifted through, honestly, a mountain of articles, research papers, and some really insightful notes on this. Our mission for this deep dive is to cut through all the jargon, all the noise, and really distill what truly matters about this powerful new approach. And for you, our listener, our mission is crystal clear. We're going to unpack precisely what vibe coding is, we'll explore how it actually works in practice, and maybe most importantly, understand why it's opening up software creation. Opening it up to non-developers, to creatives, like never before. This isn't just about making things, marginally easier. It's about fundamentally democratizing access, giving powerful tools to people, especially those who've always maybe considered themselves total beginners in the tech world. So let's jump right in and start figuring out how to transform those ideas. Okay, so let's unpack this right from the very start. What exactly is vibe coding? When we say your words become code, we mean it pretty literally. You can sort of forget that old image, right, of a developer hunched over typing endless lines of cryptic characters. With vibe coding, you're basically guiding an AI. Think like the large language models behind tools like ChatGPT or maybe GitHub Copilot. And you're doing it using nothing more complicated than plain English. It's a genuinely conversational way to build software.
Right, and what's truly fascinating here, and this is something our sources really emphasize, is how this fundamentally shifts the focus. You move away from, the really intricate technical details of writing code, the syntax, the specific functions, all that stuff, and instead you get to concentrate on the creativity, on managing the idea itself. The process is remarkably intuitive. You describe what you want the software to do, the AI generates working code based on that input, and then you just give it feedback. You refine it, you improve it. And this iterative loop, this back and forth, allows you to create fully functional software without needing to understand every single technical detail humming away under the hood. You get to be the visionary, the architect of the idea, while the AI handles the complex execution part.
That's the bit that still kind of blows my mind, honestly. When I first heard about it, I definitely thought it sounded like something out of science fiction. Pure future stuff. But it's actually happening now. Like, to make it really concrete, imagine this scenario. You have a great idea, maybe for a simple booking app for your weekend workshops. With vibe coding, you don't necessarily need to hire a developer or you've been months learning Python or whatever. You might just type something like, okay, I want an app that lets users see my available workshop dates and book a spot. And within minutes and minutes, you're not just getting some static mock-up. You're often getting a working, interactive prototype, something you can actually click around in. That's the kind of power and the speed that vibe coding is bringing to the table. It's turning abstract ideas into something tangible, something real, at this incredible pace. Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting for me. There's this concept that feels almost, counterintuitive at first glance. The sources we looked at, they strongly suggest that in this new world of vibe coding, that not being a traditional coder might actually be your secret advantage. I mean, think about it. We've always been told coding is the ultimate skill, right? The thing you have to learn. So why on earth would being a non-coder suddenly be a good thing?
Yeah, it's a crucial point, isn't it? Because it fundamentally redefines the entry requirements for building software. Vibe coding isn't really presented as like a technical training session. It's described much more as a creativity session, where the AI is doing the heavy lifting, the technical grunt work. And this makes it absolutely perfect for total beginners. It requires essentially no prior coding experience. Think of it maybe this way. A seasoned developer, someone who knows code inside out, might subconsciously default to complex solutions simply because they know how to build them. They might, over-engineer things sometimes. But a non-coder, someone approaching the problem with fresh eyes, they aren't constrained by those technical possibilities or limitations in the same way. They're focused purely on the user experience or the business logic or the creative vision, just what it needs to do. They might describe a simpler, maybe more intuitive solution that the AI can then construct pretty easily. It kind of bypasses that over engineering trap. So, this shift means that your domain expertise, what you know about your field, your unique perspective on a problem, and just your ability to clearly articulate an idea become far more valuable than your ability to write perfect code syntax. It really truly democratizes software creation in a way we've only really dreamed about until now.
And that's just a monumental shift, isn't it? It really changes the landscape. If you're a creative individual, someone who's maybe brimming with brilliant ideas, but you've always felt held back by that lack of a coding background, well, this could genuinely be your moment. You no longer necessarily need to translate your vision through a developer or spend years learning a whole new complex language. You can just articulate your vision clearly, and the AI helps you build it. It means, brilliant artists, small business owners, educators, really anyone with a problem to solve or an idea they want to share can now potentially become builders themselves. It's about unlocking innovation from completely new corners of the economy, from people who were previously shut out. Okay, so with all this incredible potential and this really empowering idea that almost anyone can become a builder, how does this magic actually happen on a practical level? What are the specific tools out there right now that are enabling us to turn our plain English words into working code? Let's maybe dive into the Vibe Coders Toolkit. What's in the box?
Yeah, definitely. The sources highlight a few key players that are really leading this charge, and each has its own unique strength. So first up, there's a tool called Lovable. Imagine you're collaborating on a really complex project, right? And you're working with this brilliant colleague who not only understands every single thing you say, but also remembers the entire context of your conversation, even from days ago. Well, that's kind of like Lovable.
Okay.
It's described as a chat-first, collaborative AI coding tool, and it's exceptionally good at remembering context, which is just absolutely essential for this kind of conversational project building. You don't have to keep repeating yourself or reminding it of decisions you made earlier. It builds on the whole project narrative, which frees you up to focus on the big picture, rather than constantly going back over old ground. Okay, then there's Cursor AI. This one's a bit different. It's an AI-powered code editor that actually integrates directly into Visual Studio Code. Now, Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, is a really popular environment that many developers already use day to day. For non-coders, though, you can think of Cursor AI as like having an incredibly smart co-pilot right there inside your workspace. It helps you write new code, obviously, but critically, it also helps you refactor, which basically means cleaning up and improving existing code to make it better or more efficient. And it helps you debug, which is the often painful process of finding and fixing errors or glitches in the code. Just imagine you've started writing some function right now. And Cursor AI instantly suggests the next 5 lines of code that you actually needed. That alone could save you minutes, maybe even hours of frustrating troubleshooting. It really accelerates the whole development process. And finally, the sources mention Claude. Claude is another AI assistant, and it's known for its pretty advanced understanding of complex prompts, and also for its ability to write code directly into your workspaces. Claude seems to shine when you need it to grasp really nuanced instructions and generate more sophisticated code structures. It's almost like having an AI architect on hand, someone who understands your detailed blueprint and can translate it into a really robust foundation. What's truly powerful about this set of tools, though, is their variety. Each one offers unique strengths, catering to different kinds of users, from people taking their very first steps into creating something with code, all the way to seasoned professional developers who are just looking to speed up their workflow and be more productive.
That's a fantastic breakdown, thanks. It really sounds like each of these has its own kind of superpower, almost.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone listening who is genuinely like a complete newbie to anything code-related, is there one you think might be a slightly gentler entry point versus maybe one for someone who's perhaps dabbled a tiny bit, and feels ready for more advanced assistance?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it probably does depend a bit on your individual comfort level. For someone who is truly starting from absolute scratch, the chat-first nature of Lovable might feel the most intuitive. It feels much more like having a direct conversation, which is generally less intimidating than staring at a blank code editor screen, right? You're literally just chatting your ideas into existence. Now, Cursor AI and Claude, while still incredibly powerful for non-coders, might feel a bit more natural once you've gained just a little confidence. Confidence in understanding how code functions, sort of conceptually, even if you're not writing it manually yourself. They offer more direct interaction with the code itself, which can be really empowering once you're past that initial, whoa, what even is code stage?
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Match the tool to where you are on the journey. So we've talked about what vibe coding is. We've looked at these incredible tools that power it. But to really bring this concept to life, to see it in action, we can look at how something like an event, maybe like co-build with Jam, really illustrates vibe coding. It shows it's not just theory, it's a hands-on, practical experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, the beauty of an event like that, according to our sources, is that it directly tackles the how question by actually showing you. It would typically kick off by explaining how vibe coding works, probably using some compelling real-world examples to make it stick. Then it would dive into showcasing the specific tools we just discussed, Lovable, Cursor, and Claude, demonstrating their capabilities in a very practical context. But probably the most crucial part is a live walkthrough. Attendees actually get to watch as something real is built from just a plain language idea right there before their eyes. And the focus isn't on teaching you the nitty-gritty details of programming languages. It's designed as a dynamic, creativity-focused session. It's all about experimentation, showing you precisely what you could potentially build just by describing your idea clearly. It really emphasizes things like rapid prototyping and validating ideas quickly, making those processes incredibly accessible for pretty much everyone. That aha moment for a lot of participants, I imagine, is just seeing how quickly an idea can jump from concept to functional reality.
Right, seeing is believing, essentially. And just for anyone curious about the logistics, our sources indicate that an event like Co-Build with Jam, Vibe Coding 101, is usually a member-only event that takes place inside the Club Jam community, often on a Thursday, typically around 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You do generally need to register for it, but the info suggests that if you're interested in participating and seeing this magic firsthand, you can join Club Jam to get access. It sounds like a really fantastic way to just kind of demystify the whole process.
Okay, so we've explored the concept, the tools, and even seen how it might come to life in a live interactive setting. But what does this all mean for someone who wants to dive deeper? Someone who wants to actually integrate this into their routine? How do you move beyond just seeing it happen and really start practicing with AI yourself, consistently, day to day?
Right, this is where that consistent engagement really becomes key. Practice makes perfect, even with AI tools. And our sources highlight Club Jam's AI Gym app as a pretty neat solution for this exact challenge. It's specifically designed to help users practice and train with concepts from Club Jam, but on a daily basis. You can think of it almost like a personalized workout routine, but for your AI skills. Each day, the app apparently gives you a new AI tool to explore, or maybe a specific prompt to try, or even an AI bot to interact with. So this isn't just about passively learning, it's very much about practical application. It's about building that muscle memory with these new kinds of workflows. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture we've been discussing, it's about making that practical application and continuous learning a really seamless, almost habitual part of your daily routine, rather than it feeling like some separate, maybe daunting task you have to schedule in. That kind of consistent, low friction engagement, that's incredibly effective for really mastering these new AI-assisted development paradigms.
That sounds like a really smart approach. Integrate the learning right into your day, make it easy. And just like the Co-Build event, it sounds like access to this AI Gym app also requires signing up for Club Jam. It seems like they've built a very thoughtful kind of ecosystem for people looking to really immerse themselves fully in this new world of creative building. So as we start to wrap up our deep dive into vibe coding today, it feels pretty clear we're talking about more than just, another new tech trend. It really feels like a fundamental shift. It's about transforming your ideas into functional software using the incredible power of AI. And in doing so, effectively removing those traditional, often intimidating barriers of coding. It's really about empowering potentially anyone with a good idea to become a builder, regardless of their technical background. The sheer accessibility that this creates is, well, it's truly astonishing when you think about it.
Indeed, it really is. And this shift, this democratization, it truly raises a pretty important question for all of us, for you listening. If coding genuinely becomes more like a conversation, what new problems can you now tackle? What things that seemed impossible before are now within reach? And what completely unexpected innovations might emerge when that technical barrier is significantly lowered or even removed entirely, allowing your creativity, your unique perspective to truly take center stage? The implications are just vast. It suggests a future where innovation might be limited more by our imagination than by our technical proficiency.
That's a really powerful thought to end on, isn't it? We definitely encourage you to consider the possibilities this new paradigm opens up for your own ideas, your own projects, your own problems. What will you create when your words might be all you need to start building?